thank you very much for joining. I'm joined today by Harley Olivia and Siegfried from the Harley Olivia experience, I guess you could say.
It's an experience, yeah.
So thank you for joining. I wanted to just kind of throw the mic to you and say, like, what a week you've been having. I've been kind of seeing a couple of things here and there, but I wanted to tell me a little bit about what, I mean, I know there's a video and I know there's a single. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. So maybe start off with the song. Let's talk about how the single drop is going.
Yeah, we dropped the single on like streaming services July 25th. And then the music video came out today. I don't know when this is airing, but today's the 31st of January.
Nice.
2025.
Yeah. But yeah, we had like a fun little run up to the video. It's been really cool. We had a live stream this morning where we answered questions and chatted to people once they got to see it. Because all of our videos are pretty outrageous. We're both enjoy humor.
You're the director and the writer, so you've always got these
just
crazy ideas.
I put Siegfried in situations that I find amusing, and then generally other people find them amusing too.
So is the whole motif in terms of like the housewife, admittedly I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to be watching it soon, but was that kind of your vision there for it?
I actually had multiple visions for this. This song is actually a song that I wrote with my old band, Anthems and Ashes. And so I've been actually playing it live in some form for over seven years.
Yeah.
Years.
Oh, okay.
So when we started playing as Harley Olivia, we
needed songs.
And
so we took a couple of anthem songs.
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks before our first show, and we'd only really released or had 5 songs that we'd written, and we were like, well, we need to fill out a half-hour set. So we took some of the anthem songs, but
I reworked them with some synths and just kind of made them a little.
Well, we really made it our own, and that song kind of took on a new life.
Yeah.
And it kind of it started to go in a direction that was more what I had hoped it would be when I first wrote it, and my vocals have gotten better, my screams have gotten better. So we were like, we have to record this.
And I was going to say, it really sounds like it's gone to sort of the core rock roots, and the screams. I mean, I definitely wanted to get out of your way, and let's just put it that way. I mean, great delivery on yeah. It's just a phenomenal track. So it's interesting to me to hear that it sort of progressed from its original manifestation with your earlier band. So what was the rewrite process like? Was there new sections added, or was it mostly production oriented?
A bit of both. I think we extended the outro. We changed some melody stuff. I had a few more different guitar bits. I didn't play it the same way because I don't play the same way as your guitar players in your previous band.
You wrote your own.
It's kind of just a little more aggressive and just like heavy and
then I didn't even have a scream in the original version.
There wasn't a scream,
which it kind of shocked me because I thought there always was one there, and when we listened to the original version and I didn't hear it, I was like, what happened? So
I'm so used to it now.
I'm so used to the way that we do it now. Yeah. So that obviously my vocals changed, and our sound is real instruments, but with synths and some electronic elements. Yeah. So we also added that in there too.
Yeah, the tempo's the same, the key's the same. I didn't really want to deviate from those. I mixed the original, and it was on your last. This is a co-production on it, but that was on your last Anthems record. It did actually get released. It was released at some point. But yeah, we kind of made it, just Harleyified it a little more. Yeah.
And then the housewife thing, that it kind of just tied into. I always like dichotomies of things, so it's like showing her struggle, but from a 1950s point of view, and then modern day, and kind of showing the difference of what it is to kind of be a woman in this time versus that time.
Yeah,
very different times.
Yeah,
would like to think that there's been progress, and maybe there's been some, but there's still a hell of a long way to go.
Well, there's a long way to go.
Oh God, yeah. When it comes to making videos, a lot of the indie bands, ourselves included, are coming up against, what's the first step? How do you go about the ideation process? And then also just ultimately the production aspect of it. So how does that process go for you? Is it like you've got kind of a lot of in-ground, production facility that you can make use of, or is it like you have to outsource camera crews, or how does that go?
For the video?
For the video specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we try to keep our costs down as much as possible because
I don't know why.
That's streaming money is just so good.
Oh yeah.
No, we try to keep costs down as much as we can. So that means taking on some of those creative roles, like learning new skills. So I actually did do 1 year of film school, and then I dropped out. But
you were also in theater school, so
but I also went to theater school and I studied script writing and stuff. So I actually do enjoy really creating storylines and movies and scripts and things. So this is another avenue that I just love to create. So I didn't mind, directing it and editing it, learning Premiere, making the graphics myself. The only thing that I cannot do myself is hold the camera and film while we're in the music video. So I do hire a video. Yet when I grow new arms, I will be able to do that too. So I do hire a videographer who I basically tell my vision to, and we kind of have a little meeting before we start shooting, and then he's kind of aware of like what I'm looking for, and then I direct it. And sometimes he's got great ideas too, and we collaborate. And then the only other thing that I do actually have to outsource at this point is color grading, because I'm just tired of being hunched over at a computer for hours.
Well, and honestly, color grading is kind of like mastering. It's like if you've already been so focused on the project all the way through, it's nice to have someone else have that final look at it or final listen to it.
Yeah, because you start to go crazy. You're like, am I seeing things? Is this cool? Is this stupid?
We have an amazing mastering facility here too, but I don't master my own mixes and productions generally.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Unless it's a budgetary reason and we want to just get something out really quick and got to crank it out. I will always pay for that final last little thing. So color grading is really like mastering in the audio world.
Yeah. Well, it's like looking at a word for too long and then all of a sudden it doesn't have any meaning.
Totally. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's great. And so obviously leveraging a lot of the skills that you've accumulated over the past however long and some of your past history doing film school and that sort of thing. I mean, is this going to be the same process that you use for videos going forward? And I'm trying to pick apart videos just because it's a stumbling block for a lot of indie artists, to be honest. The music is one thing for sure, and there's kind of a tried and true method for that. But I think for your first video to now, what things have you learned that you incorporate sort of going forward?
From the first to now, it's almost identical. It's in between.
Oh, really?
Deviated. We paid someone a boatload of cash to do a middle video, and we just don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually funny that our first music video was filmed in the same building as this music video.
It's the band house, like lodging quarters for my bands here at the studio. So it's an older cabin, and so it worked perfect for the vibe of the first video, which is No More Tears.
Yeah,
and then it was actually perfect because it looks kind of 50s with the paneling and shit.
But talk about resourceful. Use what you got.
Use what you got.
But I do think we live in a time now where music videos aren't the be all and end all of your project. It used to be that you'd pay like, I mean, bigger artists would pay like
$200,000.
Yeah, but, I mean, even $50,000 like it's for one video, but that video would be put on Much Music and would be put on all these big stations, and we just don't do that anymore. Some people would argue that I'm hanging on to kind of a dying art form by still cranking out music videos. Because really, if you're like, if you cannot get to it, you're like, this is like, you've got an ADHD block, you just can't do the music video thing. Doing maybe 4 or 5 different looks in vertical video content and putting that on TikTok or Instagram Reels, where you're lip syncing to your song in a creative way that is eye-catching, can be just as effective. I happen to just love creating little worlds in my music videos. That's part of just what I enjoy about the process. And then I turn that into the vertical video content. So you don't have to do a music video, but
I think both are still important.
But then again, you could also argue that if you make a little clip of your music video and you post that, and then people see it and are drawn to it, then they can go on YouTube and watch the full version and become a more ingrained fan and kind of appreciate more of your long form content. So, I mean,
you've got a better chance of being seen if you've got more of that content. So if there's a real video, but you've also got all the vertical stuff for socials,
but if you cannot get around to it, you know, you're like, you're stopping all your other processes because you're trying to get the motivation to do a music video. It's not the end of the world. There are other options.
But it's funny because the music really has just become like, it's not really even the product anymore. It's like, you have to have the song, obviously, because that's important, but that's not what people are flocking for.
No, you're the product.
Yeah, you're the product. The music is just like an advertisement for you as the product. It's really changed in 30 years.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. I mean, a conversation that I have with our guitar player all the time is that music is unique in the sense that the product itself is not what makes the money. That's just it's a conduit towards, you know, the artist as a mechanism to gain exposure, I suppose. And also I think it's interesting what you just said there, Harley, about you know, it's kind of up to the artist as to whether or not they want to look into video as one of the routes to getting promotion, and it's not a necessary thing because the rules are so different now, and it's like you can decide to put effort and money into a video project, but it's not necessary. It's just, as Siegfried just mentioned, it's another avenue for people to see your material.
Yeah, used correctly, of course it's going to bring people to see your music and advertise you and show off your creativity. But if that's not where you find your passion, and it, like I said, it's weighing you down, then find a different way, because there are plenty of artists out there who do like really cool vertical video content that probably cost them nothing. That's why I say some people probably think I'm a little bit stuck in the old ways, because I am actually doing a full video that costs money. And maybe in the future we should reevaluate where we spend that. But I like doing them. I think they're fun.
The nice thing too is when it comes to spending money, I've invested my entire life into a recording compound facility. And of course, this is where we do all of our records. This is where we do the writing. This is where we do the producing, the mixing. And that's a huge cost.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless all you care about is just cranking something out in Logic or using AI, sure, there's no cost there, but we're still kind of old school in terms of that.
Yeah.
Making the music. So, and I think it shows when you listen to it.
I mean, he's an audio nerd, so
and I'm an audio nerd.
He needs it to be perfect.
I was here in the old days of the industry, you know, so I still try to carry that torch.
God bless you. God bless you for it. Yeah, that spans a couple of different aspects there that I'd like to dig into. But first thing I wanted to ask was whether Give It To Me was part of a larger project. Is it an EP? You know, is it a single for an EP, or what's next with that line of things?
Yeah, I mean, we generally don't want to just launch one single and then let the algorithm die. So yeah, we've got more singles on the way. The next one is actually going to be the one that we filmed a music video in San Francisco. So I'm excited to
better get on finishing that one, eh?
I know it's not done yet. But so the song's called San Francisco, and we did film a music video there. Very guerrilla.
You actually have an on-location shoot as an indie band?
It's and honestly, it's probably my favorite song.
It's a good one.
If I'm gonna choose a song to pick that I absolutely love, and I incorporated some stuff into that song that I had written many, many years ago when I lived in LA in 2016.
Yeah.
I wrote some interesting little riff bits, and that's all the stuff on the bridge.
Yeah.
And when it came to writing this song and we needed a bridge, I was like, you know what? There's this thing I was working on like almost a decade ago. And I wanted it to be one of my songs at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna give it.
You gave it to
I'm gonna provide it, and it's gonna be, and to me, that's like, I'm getting goosebumps because it's a very emotional part of the song.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very cool. And it's just a really good
song is very emotional. It's very different than Give It To Me. So we're doing a hard pivot after this.
Yeah, it's a 180.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I love that. I love the diversity in the material, and also getting some of the origin story as to how it came to be. That's
actually really... fun fact, the song San Francisco, so he did add that stuff in, but its true origin story was when I was a flight attendant. I was in San Francisco, and I didn't have data to get my Uber back to my hotel. I could only get it to the Golden Gate Bridge. I had to walk back because I didn't have internet. So it was like a 2 or 3 hour walk to my hotel.
Wow.
And I was like, well, what if I wrote a song in that time? By the time I get to my hotel, I'll have a song written. And then that was San Francisco.
No way.
Yeah, that was a really cute area. You were checking out all these like van builds and stuff, and you were sending me pictures and
little communities.
And I was like, oh, that's actually the area that we filmed part of the video.
Yeah, we actually got back to that. I made sure we went back to that
really
spot.
Cool. Yeah,
so it was kind of cool.
But what's really funny about that song is you brought me that a good almost year before we worked on it, and I hated it because it was just a vocal melody into the phone.
Oh yeah,
and I couldn't decipher it. I was like, the timing is all messed up. And can we swear on this?
Yes. And drink alcohol.
Perfect. I was like, this is fucked. This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what you're doing. I can't tell what the melody is supposed to be. It was so bizarre. And I purposely ignored it every time she brought it up.
That's San Francisco.
I was like, yeah, we'll look at that later. I was like, fucking Jesus shit. And then at some point we sat down, and then
I told you, I said you were overthinking it. And
I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
But then way simpler than
and it just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I could tell you a few more influences. I won't at this point. We'll talk about when it actually gets released.
Yeah.
But it very much went into like a very bizarre, cool direction.
Yeah.
And it's become my favorite song.
Nice.
So that was great. It was cool, and you were wrong.
I love how in some cases it's like books, same things that they call to you. They pick out a time when it's good for you to actually sit down with them, and songs are similar in the sense that it's like, it's not happening. It's not jiving. And then all of a sudden you sit down with it and it's like, it smacks you over the head. It's like, do this, dummy. And then all of a sudden it's like, starts to flow. Love that. Also, before I started moving on, I wanted to also ask about the unsigned artist finalist. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's something I had only seen recently.
Yeah, Unsigned Only is it's a competition where they give out awards to unsigned artists, and it spans a bunch of. Oh my God! A bird just hit the window.
Oh fuck!
Sorry, that happens a lot. It's really
I'm
traumatic.
pretty sure that's a bad sign.
No, that's
a place with lots of skylights and windows, and I had no idea of the death and detriment I would cause.
Okay. So Unsigned Only spans across different genres. So we're up for Best Rock Song.
Nice.
And I read that I think 5,000 people were submitting their songs, and 1,000 get chosen. And that's still like over the genres.
Oh yeah.
And I counted. I went through the list and I counted, and there's 60 up for Best Rock Song. So
congratulations.
Out of 5,000.
Thank you.
That's that's a feat.
And I keep trying to tell him. He's always busy when I'm telling him, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "No, you don't get how cool this is."
Very cool.
I think I'm just a little jaded as I get older. That's like all these things pop up, and I'm like, "Yeah, cool, sounds good." Yeah, this is impressive. You're right.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're semifinalists, so I'm not sure when the prizes get awarded, but I think it's September or something.
Excellent. So, but the voting is sort of through its paces, and now it's up to the judges to determine what's going on.
Yeah, I actually love this competition because there's no voting. It's
is that right?
It's literally just the people who put on the thing. They decide who makes the cut, and then the judges are. I think there's maybe 15 judges, but they I think are assigned to different genres.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, the lead singer of The Cure is one of the judges. Leanne Rimes is a judge.
Oh,
I'm assuming Leanne Rimes is going to judge the country songs.
It's kind of like the Junos or the Grammys. Then you actually have like a judging committee that it goes through, as opposed to individual humans that are fan based.
Yeah, and the song, I didn't even mention it. The song that we are nominated for is "You're Not Ready." Yeah. So that was their previous single.
Yeah, which is fabulous too, by the way.
I think. Yeah.
So you mentioned before, which I want to dig into a little bit. I mean, you were a flight attendant and you pivoted. Maybe not a lot of people know the story, but I wondered if you could describe a little bit about what that process was like, and what sacrifices were made, and how it feels to sort of pivot from something that was a a day job to doing music full time?
I mean, all my friends and family would tell you it was probably the most annoying I've ever been in my life, and just bothered them so much because I was constantly like, should I quit? I don't know. Should I quit? I don't know. And they were like, just quit. Just freaking quit. Like, we're done with this conversation. Why haven't you decided yet? But like you said, a day job, there's security in that. But also, like, I was very well aware of the privilege of getting to travel the world for cheap. And sometimes to get paid for it, like, I had some really amazing layovers. I went to India. I went to all over Europe, South America. And then on my discounted flights, I took trips to like Singapore and crazy places that I never ever dreamed of going. But
if at any point did you actually consider the justification, well, these are great opportunities to write about where I'm going, so why would I want to give that up?
Yes, but I became so mentally distraught by the end, because another thing that sort of came to term around the time that I quit is I finally figured out that I have ADHD. And I know some people blow that off as being like, oh, everyone's got it, but it really does make certain things difficult. And so if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm a zombie. My social skills aren't great because I feel like I'm like buffering every 5 seconds. My brain's not good. And so I was pulling all-nighters like 10 days out of the month, and then arriving in a foreign country where all of a sudden I haven't slept at all. It's daytime. Everyone speaks a different language. And I have this pressure on myself to go and explore and see things, because that's why I'm here. Why am I doing this job if I just go sleep in my hotel room? You got to go do stuff. You got to go do stuff. So I'd go and do stuff, but I'd be so tired and feeling ill because I was so exhausted. Wow. And
it wasn't healthy.
The anxiety that I started getting, I'd be like shaking. So I was like, and I'm not eating properly because I'm eating plain food. And what you put in your body really fuels your mental health. So I wasn't supposed to be eating plain food like every day of my life.
So some of it looked tasty.
It sometimes was.
The mac and cheese and the...
Yeah, but you peel the foil back before you cook it, and you see this giant hunk of butter just sitting on top.
Oh, hunk of butter.
But yeah, over time it was kind of deteriorating my mental health, and just I was having to say no to opportunities for music because I was doing flights, and that got really sad too. So I had to eventually make a choice, and I decided to choose music.
Yeah, but so, and obviously everybody needs to pay the bills, but how have you found that transition? Now it's been some time, has it not been?
Yeah, it's
a couple years.
At least I guess a couple years. Well, one of the other things that was stopping me was my pride, because I had a little bit of an inflated ego, being like, oh, well, I have like a cool job. I'm a flight attendant. I don't want to do anything like that's not as cool. But
not as cool as being a rock and roll star.
Well, rock and roll doesn't pay the bills right away. So as you know, I'm a vocal coach, and I had been vocal coaching a few students while I was flight attending, but it wasn't a full-time gig. And so before I could make the transition to full-time, I needed an interim job. And so I had to swallow my pride and work as a housekeeper for about 6 months and clean toilets and, make beds and pick up people's garbage.
8 months.
6 or 8 months or something like that. And then eventually my vocal coaching and my performing stuff took off and I could quit, but I had to, get over it and work a Joe job.
But in just a couple of years, you've become like a rock star vocal coach.
Thank you.
Well, no, you have though. I actually have her come in on sessions now. Like I don't want to do vocals anymore in the studio with the client unless she's with me. Okay. And she'll sit right next to the console. She'll man the talkback, and honestly, like vocals go so much faster than in the old days for me.
Yeah, because I can hear when someone's struggling or they're straining, and
I push them.
He'll be like,
"Well, you can do it.
Let's just do 3 more takes." I'm like, "Okay, can we just work smarter, not harder, please?"
Because I've also become accustomed to Melodyne and Auto-Tune and Pro Tools and being able to push stuff if I have to. So as long as I can get close to the note and I can get kind of the character, then I hate to say it, sometimes it just feels like, let's just move on to the next thing because it's good enough. But you aren't a good enough person like that. Like, you really want to try to push to get the best out of the person.
Yeah.
And it's way better because they become better vocalists and they become performers. So it's the better way to be.
I think by and large, I'm just speaking for myself, I prefer when I have the opportunity to actually get the take rather than feeling as though, we'll just button it up in post. So perhaps that's a shared sentiment. Yeah. It depends on the artist, I guess, but
and it does. And I think the newer artists, I think that's kind of what they're like sort of used to, is like, oh, it's good enough. But I mean, I didn't grow up like that either. I grew up on analog tape. So you couldn't get it down. Like, we didn't even have any pitch shifting stuff in the 90s. We didn't use an Eventide. Like, it was like, if it was there, it was there. And if it wasn't, then it fucking sounded like dog shit. And you either retracted the next day or you just said, no, we only have one track left. That's it. You can't.
I think the biggest thing that comes into play for me as the coach is knowing if the student can do it. Like, if there's someone that has been taking lessons with me, I kind of know where to, how we can navigate. And if even if we haven't had lessons together, but I can tell that they've got some talent and they've worked hard at this, and there's room that I can push them to do better, we go for it. But if it's someone who, has no experience, maybe I analyze it and I think that maybe pushing them would be a detriment and wouldn't help, then I back off. But I have to kind of navigate that in the moment and see how. And
selfishly, because I do the records here, and when I have clients come, I get them to do like a little bit of vocal coaching and lessons with you when they're here making a record with me.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to turn out better in the end. And I'm like, hey, like, we have to allot a little bit of the budget to have her do her thing with you.
There's been times where like someone didn't do a warm up before they went on, and I can hear like they're like ripping themselves, like, and they were just like
a fucking cat getting murdered. I'm like, I'm like, I know we didn't really allot anything. Can you just please help? Like, now that I know, I really don't want to do it the other way anymore. It just doesn't make any sense.
And you want the singer to feel good, like you were saying. You want to feel like you've left doing your best.
It's the same as any record.
Yeah, I think the stigma is important to remove from vocalists who feel as though it's awkward to warm up. Oh, I don't need to warm up. I'm a rock and roll, performer, and all I need is my menthols and a bottle of JD.
It works for a short little while.
Until you completely. That sounds like Axl. Not that he's not a talented guy, just like,
No, he's great. He sounds fantastic these days. It's like Mickey Mouse.
The falsetto is in full force.
It is,
yes. So another sort of pivot question, but I want to ask because, as you know, Indie Distributors heavily focused on indie musicians trying to sort of make ends meet. But on Hiding Little Pieces, you have an Audio Slave cover. And I was curious as to the process for going through putting a cover song on your record and releasing it. Is that something that is painful? It looks like it's painful.
It was painful. The only reason that song's even on the thing is because I teach these recording workshops here at the studio, and it was a song that we did for a workshop.
Okay.
And it turned out so well that I was like, we need to remix this and make it more
on the record,
make it hard and put it on the record. We needed an extra song anyway. So I thought, let's just do it. But I'll let you take it.
Like, I probably wouldn't do that again. I probably wouldn't put a cover on.
Covers are hard when you're doing physical.
Well, it's fine. We lived and breathed to tell the tale. It's all good. But it is, you do have like some hoops to jump through. You have to get it. You have to, oh my gosh, I think is it Harry Fox? The
Harry Fox Association in the US is the main one.
Yeah, you have to,
for years. You have to pay per unit that you make.
Yeah, and basically they won't say that you've made less than like, I don't know, 500 units. So you just have to pay like the 500 price. It's really not that much money. It's actually like monetary wise, it's very doable.
The only time it's a problem is if it's your Celine Dion and you're releasing like 10 million records.
Yeah, no, we only printed like 300 records or something. So
you actually made physically copies of the.
Yeah, it went on the vinyl, and it's going to go on the CD. So you're going to have to go through this again when you recreate the CD.
It was annoying for us too, because they I think the site was down at one point, and then we were sending the files, and then they don't do zip files, so then
the process is still a little bit antiquated.
It's a little bit there was a lot of emailing back and forth, which makes my brain want to die.
Yeah, when you're doing an online distribution, like through DistroKid or something, and you do a cover, you pay the one fee, and then it's done. It's
if you're not pressing a physical copy, it's way easier. But because we were doing the vinyl, we had to do a little bit more.
Got it. Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense.
There's really nothing else beyond that. You just
pay them for the rights and then move on.
Yeah.
I do need to address the kind of elephant in the room, which is AI, and what thoughts you have. I mean, obviously, we're all a little bit from the old school side of things, but now in a Velvet Sundown era, what kind of things are you running into, and what thoughts do you have about the progression of that?
Well, for me personally, I think it's fantastic because I utilize
that's nuanced though, because you do run into some issues.
No, I mean, I use it in certain situations. I've used AI to remove reverb from vocals or background noises in a live album.
Okay.
And there's no plugin or tool that I own that will do that. And so some of the online AI stuff fixes things like that, or removes a vocal from an instrumental, and I use that for your vocal lessons a lot when you need it for your students.
Yep. I can make any song instrumental, which is good.
I've now been having clients bring me personally an AI version of a song that they'd like to recreate, that they sort of had a hand in. I have no idea how much of a hand in they had, but
pressing the key.
Just pushing prompts, lyric prompts, maybe. I don't even know. So I don't necessarily ask, but I will hire musicians, I'll play on it, and then I'll finish it and I'll mix it for the client, and it becomes their song. So for me, I think AI is actually almost bringing in more work.
Interesting.
And making parts of my job easier. We don't use it for song creation, personally. I just do it with another client if they brought me a song. We don't use it to generate lyrics. We don't use it to generate graphics. We
don't do it. Use it in any sort of creative aspect. It's just to support us with tasks that we otherwise couldn't do before.
Yeah, which a tool and a plugin has always done for us anyway,
since
the dawn of computers.
The downside to it though is Siegfried could talk about this too, is that there's AI mastering and stuff, which is not the same as having a human being master your song, but it's being marketed as if it is. And so there might be less mastering work, but we assume over time that will come full circle, because eventually people will hear the difference.
Well, it can't necessarily produce a song. It can't necessarily have all the instruments be. There's always artifacts and shit that you hear that's weird, and it can't mix, really. It can't take a number of tracks and mix a song. So the mastering thing is easy, because it's doing is making a preset generic based on the style of music and deciding, oh, this needs more top end. The mids need to be scooped, needs a bit more bottom end, and it needs to be cranked in volume.
Then you don't get the nuances. And we had a client the other day have their song mastered, and the person who mastered it said that he had to reference one of his masters from when he mastered Disturbed. And that's so cool. The fact that he went and looked at his old master of a Disturbed song to see how it related to this one is cool.
Not just that, but the mastering changed from section to section of the song. Because I was a little heavy-handed, apparently, he said, in the mixes, and the toms were a little unwieldy or wild, and he's like, I had to do separate chunks of the song separate, and AI mastering wouldn't do that. It would just analyze it really quickly and say, okay, it needs this overall. And I mean, I've done some tests with Lander and some of the AI mastering things, and it comes back worse than what I sent it, and I'm like, cool. I can't see that world, that side of it really becoming that popular. I think it's still important. If you care about your craft, you're still going to want a human touching it.
Yeah. I dig that. And I also dig the notion of incorporating it as a tool, which is what it's intended to fill in the blanks for things that either you can't do or things that you don't want to necessarily have to do. You name it.
To make a sandwich.
Yeah. Can't wait till the time
what I need it for.
Laundry, folding.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Cleaning,
let's get on that stuff. Please. All of the above and more. So advice for up and coming indie female artists, I'd say specifically, Harley, if you wouldn't mind speaking to that a little bit.
I would say learn as much as you can so that you can make as much of your art in-house. So like I said, I had to learn video editing, directing. If you want to go the music video route, some sort of like script writing of a story, writing your own lyrics. If you're a singer, taking voice lessons to make sure that what you're doing is sustainable and healthy. And that is you're going to be able to do well into your 50s, 60s, 70s. If you're a guitar player, same rules apply, like take guitar lessons. And then I would say, don't be an island. Like when you see your friends having success or doing something, and don't, avoid them or unfollow them or secretly hate their success. Reach out to them, compliment them on what they're doing, and try and build a community, because we're all really trying our hardest. And the one thing that people don't really talk about in the indie musician world is it's quite isolating. And I mean, especially as a solo artist, I know I've got this buffoon here with me. But if you're, just a solo artist and you see your producer when you go to record or whatever, and you're doing everything by yourself, it starts to feel really lonely. And so if you can meet other people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, you guys can collab, so you can steal each other's fans. You can learn from their mistakes. You can help each other. I really do believe that there's room for all of us to have success and find our niche and find our fans. So try not to, I know we're wired for this, but try not to compare yourself to others, and look at your friends as, pillars in your community and people that you can learn from, because you'll have a way better time if you look at it that way.
Yeah, I dig all of that. That's very well said, and encouraging to up and coming artists for sure. Because I think a lot of folks get into this trap, as you say, of being insular and thinking that they have to do everything themselves, and that accepting help or support from someone else in the indie community is somehow admitting defeat. And where what we've seen evidence in the past while here is that there is what we're envisioning and what we're experiencing is a resurgence of community-driven independent music that supports one another. And if anything, what the web has taught us, and just kind of online presence, is that there is a niche for literally everything. Every style, every nuance, every kind of subgenre of subgenres. I mean, it's all there. There are people there that love that type of music. It's, in the old days, we used to say there's a magazine and a conference for everything, but there's literally an audience for every single style of music. So that's encouraging advice to want to, to reach out and don't hesitate. Yeah. So what's next? I mean, obviously you mentioned that there's an EP. Obviously don't want you to spill too much tea that you don't want to spill, but
I'd like it to be a full length. I don't think it's going to be an EP. We did the EP already. I think the next thing needs to be.
He keeps saying this, but that means more work. You have to actually commit to it.
I realize it means more work.
So, but I want to talk about this a little bit, because Siegfried, the desire to release an LP, we have it too, as Shoemaker Levy. We've released 3 what we consider full-length albums, and we were all excited because this final one we has 45 minutes long, so it's actually long play length, and so we were ooh, high-fiving each other. So, I mean, there's a school of thought that goes into that. But what are your thoughts on, what's the next thing going to be? Is it LP? What's the philosophy behind? Does it make sense to release an LP, or is it all singles all the time?
I mean, I'm pretty old school still, and I grew up at a time when, to me, when you release an EP, it's like releasing a couple chapters of a book, a whole story. So the LP or the full length is still the actual work of art. I mean, I remember the first time I even experienced what an EP was, and it was actually, ironically, Aussie. And I remember in the mid 80s, I was pretty young. I was probably 7 or so, 6 or 7. And we were at a flea market, and there were a bunch of tapes that were for sale. And I remember seeing a bunch of EPs from Aussie. I can't remember. I think there was a Mr. Crowley EP. There was a bunch of stuff that he released Some were 82, 83, and they were on sale. And we're looking at it thinking, there's only 3 songs on this. I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? This isn't even an album. Like, and being that young and still think, and when I was young, I was always like craving like releasing albums under some sort of a fake moniker or a band that I was creating, you know. So to me, an album is still always the actual work of art. And I think a lot of artists are coming back to that again. Billie Eilish has said that. Taylor Swift has said that. Like,
yeah,
you know, they're still going to release albums. U2, like the real artists are still going to release a full work.
I do agree that it does give you more room to kind of expand on your ideas. If you only have 5 songs and like one's really heavy, one's really soft, and then the other's
incomplete idea.
Yeah. Whereas like if you have a full album, it gives you a little bit more room to play, and it not seems so out of place to have like, you know, that one heavy song or whatever.
To me, the album is still a journey from front to back, and it's meant to be listened like that. You know, whether people still do that or not, but they do on vinyl because they don't really have much of a choice.
I think though, when it comes to that, especially like we're an unsigned band, we're self-funded. We still have to use the tools that we have that are free and use them to the best of our abilities. So I'm sure you've heard of coffee dripping singles. You release one single, then the video, and then 6 weeks later you release the next single and then the video, and then
an acoustic version.
And then you might do a bridge track. So you might have the acoustic version, you might have the EDM version, piano version, collab version, to buy yourself some time so you can still please the algorithm while not burning out completely. But then when you release that final track, you would release like the entire EP.
Yeah, all of those pieces that are significant, not the bridge tracks, but the main ones should go on some sort of a full book.
So what I was going to say is with an album, you might do that with like 3 or 4 singles, but then the rest of them, I guess you could just have them come out when the album comes out. So you're not coffee dripping, you know, like 12 songs.
Yeah.
Although some people do.
But at the same time, some people do that. There's a lot of gray area here in 2025 that you can make it work for you.
We're still very Wild West in terms of like all of that.
Yeah.
People don't really have, and it changes from year to year, like how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our tact with this one was we released more singles than we actually had on the record. And the whole process was over a year. Like there was a whole year that went by before the release of the first single on the record to when we actually released. I don't know if it's right or wrong or whatever. It was just kind of the way it went. But we, you know, we had released 2 full records prior and had sort of met with dull thuds in a way, in terms of like there was this huge spike of people because, you know, as Siegfried as you mentioned, like, do people actually sit down and listen to LPs anymore? We're all really busy. We all have all kinds of stuff going on at all times, and try to play a record in your car when you're driving to London, Ontario or whatever, right? Like it's not always possible. So, but I think that there's enough people that have the school of thought of a record is like the photo album of a year of your life, and all the creative effort that's gone into, I guess, editorializing what's happened to you. And that's your songwriting. That's the snapshot, right? And that's kind of the way I see it. Again, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I think in terms of albums, you know.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I don't know if it's the next one's going to be the EP or the album. Regardless, it'll be exciting to hear.
Mom and Dad have to figure out what we're doing.
Well, honestly, I think what you just said goes back to true fans versus casual listeners. You know, so if you are trying to reach those 1,000 fans, which will support you for life, which is roughly the number, I think they're the ones that will listen to it. They'll read the whole book front to back. Yeah. And they'll understand the journey that you've gone through as an artist, and they'll invest in you in that for that reason, because they believe in you. And then the casual listener will be like, oh, I like this song. Cool. But I mean, those casual listeners, they were around 40 years ago as well, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. That's why the single market was so huge in the 60s and the 70s, and even in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. You know, like a true fan is still going to invest in you as an artist and want to understand your craft, and they want to absorb every last little bit of what you're doing.
Now, does that still apply if you release a double or triple album of all the stuff, and you call it like the musical version of Harley Olivia's life. And
oh man, I think so. I think it does.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think as long as like, because we are well, we have management now, which is exciting, but
that's very exciting.
Yeah, thank you. But we are still, indie, because we're still funding everything ourselves, and we're still kind of driving the train.
We're in control.
We're still, our creativity is still not being squandered by, a company that's telling us what we have to do.
Yeah, so what does that look like? Sorry to stop you there, but what I mean, how does that dynamic work? Is that something that you kind of set the groundwork and said, no, this is how we're going to operate, or was it sort of
actually how they wanted to operate as well?
The management company that we're working with is called Dark Phoenix 45, and they had found us because there had been a label that was interested in us, and they were an A&R agent that was sort of scouting around, and they found us. And they're no longer with that label, but they started their own company. And we really love their philosophy behind music and how to manage. They always say it's kind of like the artist first, and I think their moniker is like from the pit for the people. So really what happens is we kind of just were upfront, like, okay, look, like these are the singles that we're gonna have coming out. This is the plan for the year. Like, does this align with you? Like, in what ways do you think you could help support and figure out this stuff? And they were like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, we're down to what's it called? Sort of tailor our skills to what you're looking for.
Nice.
So whether that's, grant proposals or applying for festivals or
some of the mundane tasks that are time consuming and creatively sucking, because we're supposed to be writing and recording and working on music. And
I have like a neck hump now because I spent like a year.
It's fine.
Like
it's not
hunched over my computer applying to every
I see.
festival. And so having someone else, who, and this is what I will say is the most important thing when picking a manager, is finding someone who is as passionate about your music as you are.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that will be writing your festival submissions potentially. Not all, like I might still write some that I maybe have personal connections to or something, but yeah, if there's like a radio station that they're going to promote you to, like you want them to write with passion and write like they need to really actually be a fan of your music.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because people
work
always
as a team.
talk about like what is needed in 2025 in terms of a team. You don't need a manager until you have a career to manage. You don't need a record label because X, Y, and Z. Like, no, we don't need a record label in the traditional sense, because a record label funded your record. That's what the point of them was.
Yeah.
And we own a facility where we can make our own records, so that's easy.
We have a unique setup that not everybody else has, but for us, it's not feasible. We don't need that help.
But a team is important, and someone behind you that can do the managerial duties. Whether you think you need them or not, I think it's still important, especially with grants, festival submissions, and really some of the touring support. And having the family, because they manage a number of bands. And being a part of that family and being able to tour with them, and the potential, and of course they're Americans, so that was exciting for us too.
Yeah,
because we wanted something with a greater reach.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take scientists to figure out that like the States is 340 million people ish. Canada's got like 35.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a numbers game. So having someone in a country like that is a lot more advantageous.
Yeah, having boots on the ground in the States is helpful, because even there are things that we don't even understand. Like there are certain festivals that have certain requirements for festival submissions, and they're on it. They're like, we'll figure out what you need as a Canadian and all that stuff.
Well, and some of the festivals are lots of people apply, but they already know no one's getting in. That's some extra funding. That's great for the festival.
Right.
It's more about like, hey, do you know some of the people on the inside?
Yeah.
So it's about those connections. It's always about networking. You don't have to be the greatest person in the room, but if you know all the other people that can get you places, sadly, that's sort of the way the industry has worked for a long time. And it's not like something like payola.
Well,
it's more about connections.
Looking at the acting industry and how nepotism has. We were watching a movie last night and we're like, oh, that person's the daughter of that person. That person knows that. We're like, this is crazy. Like, did anyone audition for this film?
No. And both you and I grew up very blue collar. Our parents worked very hard. My parents were farmers. Your dad was a scientist, and
My
mom
mom
worked very hard.
Yeah, she
you know.
did everything. She did law clerk, and
But none of them were in the music
No.
industry, and they didn't get us to where we are. And I feel like if we had children at this point in time,
Yeah.
they would probably be the best off out of all of it, because they'd have a great head start. We didn't, besides loving music and wanting to be
Yeah.
immersed in it, that's really where it came from for us.
That's funny. You think so, but then the kids are going to want to be athletes, like, right?
Yep.
You don't control that.
Plumbers and electricians these days, because they realize that all the money's in something that's blue collar again, not white collar.
But yeah, so far you can't AI putting up drywall.
You can't anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be an electrician.
Yeah, that tracks. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, you mentioned festivals. It's going to be great to see you at Gustapalooza. You're performing there this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're so excited.
We are too. It's going to be great fun.
Well, just speaking about Gustapalooza, we so the music video that we just dropped today has footage from last year's Gustapalooza
Nice.
in it. So little
advertisement.
shout out to Gussa. That's like our favorite show to play every year. So if you want to see what a Gussa show kind of looks like, you can check out there's like live portions of our live performance footage in that music video, which is pretty fun.
Love it.
Yeah, so we're excited for that. We're also doing Salt and Harvest Fest in Goderich, which is another all ages event. I've been getting all these questions lately because there's people who want to bring like their daughters and sons to our shows, and they're like, are there any all ages ones? Because usually we play in bars and in like drinking venues, but if you have someone under 19 who wants to come see us, please check my website, because we've got summer is the time of the festival, and that's the best place to come see us.
Most of what we have coming up is all
Yeah, we're doing Sutton Fair actually, August 9th. And that's Siegfried's birthday. So
Really?
Yeah, you should come.
Show him my birthday. Perfect.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
My anniversary is the day before. So
Cute.
yes, it's a busy month.
Yes.
But yeah, Gustapalooza is also all ages, which is fantastic. So that's exciting. So it sounds like you got a lot of irons in the fire, which is fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Gus. And I mean, for another conversation, might want to dig into kind of doing the show circuit and booking tours and stuff like that, because I'm always interested in that, but we're a little short on time now. But really excited to talk to both of you, and excited to see what is coming up next. And congratulations on releasing the video today.
Thank you.
It's going to be amazing to see you in this August.
Yeah, and thank you for having us. First of all, this is a long time coming, and we've got lots of new stuff on the way. So, I mean, we'll have our next single out hopefully early September.
I'm working on it.
So he looked away.
This is the problem. I have to be like, is it done?
Yeah,
is it done?
I mean, it would be a problem if I was an electrician too, because then I'd just be able to do music on the side.
Oh my gosh.
It's always the cobbler's children's shoes.
That's right. Their shoes are the worst.
Yeah. No, that's great. And looking forward to all that stuff. And thank you for taking the time to do this. This is a kind of off the record. It's a labor of love to try to inspire up and coming artists through just having real conversations about what it's like. And it's funny how when we progress through, it's difficult sometimes to articulate the things that we have learned, because we're kind of always in it. And then, reflecting on things that maybe are second nature to us. For an up and coming artist, especially on the younger side, there's one band that's going to be there that we saw them play in Peterborough, and they won the kind of Battle of the Bands thing to get into Gus. They're called Life of Exile, and they're kids, like they're 16, 17 years old, female vocalist, and they're just getting started. And some of the stuff, you can tell that these types of conversations are really helpful, because it helps them sort of frame and reflect on, I never thought of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The type of thing that we would probably love to see when we were just getting started ourselves,
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like everybody's route is so different. Like I look at people and I'm like, oh, they worked their ass off until that year when that happened, and then everything was exponential. I'm like, but I can't bank on that thing happening to me. I have to look at what if that doesn't happen? How am I going to make it happen for myself? And you just kind of have to hope that opportunities open themselves up, and that's not something that a lot of people are willing to risk and do. So even just calling yourself an indie artist or being in a band and attempting this is, I think it's brave and it's scary, and it shows that you're willing to live with risks in your life, but the payoff is great if you really stick with it. Because, I mean, if you are, pushing yourself one way in the universe and you're doing everything you can to keep things going in this trajectory, the only thing that's going to make it not happen is if someone's like opposing you. So you have to kind of have those conversations with yourself and be like, okay, well, like if I'm pushing myself in this direction, I'm doing everything I can, there's actually more of a chance of things happening. Maybe it won't look exactly the way I thought it would look. Maybe I won't be Lady Gaga, but maybe I will get some success and be able to pay my bills at this if I really keep going. Because unless someone's opposing me, like, why wouldn't this keep going?
Yeah. First and foremost, being yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people, I'm just sort of, I've been riffing on this idea recently of like the idea of fame, and that's not actually what a lot of artists these days are going for, because they realize how detrimental that can be to someone's health. Why would I want my anonymity to not exist anymore to that extent where I don't even feel comfortable being in the world?
Right.
Yes. I mean, I can't imagine how that would be.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I don't like going to the supermarket anyway. Why the hell would I?
I'm going to let that end.
Sorry, honey, I'm too famous.
I can't run any of those errands you need me to do. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, it's interesting times for sure. So yeah, I think, and also what you were saying about community, it means a lot to connect with people and try to drive one another's initiatives. I mean, we're integrated. Obviously, you're teaching my daughter how to sing, and, which we really appreciate. And, it's all tied into the same type of thing is our styles, I think, complement each other, and we'd love to play another show at some point. And, we're all aiming for the same thing, I think, ultimately. So, all right. Well, I'll let you get back to your busy lives. But
thank you so much.
Yes. If you want to talk about more indie stuff, we could talk for years. So just let us know.
Yeah, love to. This has been great. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, see you soon, man.
Bye.